Imagine waking up with a serenity so solid that no harsh word, no annoyed glance, and no daily setback has the power to knock you off balance. A state where criticism becomes distant noise, offense loses its poison, and problems become just tasks. Sounds like fantasy. The ancient Stoics treated it as a daily practice, not because they were made of stone, but because they learned to command their emotions instead of being commanded by them. Is it possible to live without exploding in anger? Yes, when the mind learns to recognize the first spark of the fire and cuts off the oxygen that feeds it. Is self-control emotional coldness? No, it's active lucidity, feeling, understanding, and choosing the response that preserves inner peace. Before we move on, let's make a quick deal. If this content helps you build that unshakable version of yourself, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this push. It tells the algorithm and yourself that discipline and mental clarity are worth it. Let's go together. Anger, when it controls us, is like wildfire. It begins with a spark, a rude comment, a traffic delay, a frustrated expectation. And if fed by rumination, it devours clarity, erodes relationships, and exhausts the body. There is no glory in that outburst. It proves not strength, but that the wheel was handed to impulse. The Stoics knew this long before science measured blood pressure and inflammation. Whoever gives direction to anger pays interest with both body and soul. The antidote isn't denying emotion, but catching the first sign and extinguishing it while the flame still fits in your palm. Most so-called negative emotions arise from the clash between what the world is and the script we wrote for it. We demand that people act according to our shoulds, that outcomes follow our lines, that life validate our beliefs. When reality takes another route, we feel betrayed, but the fracture lies in attachment to rigid expectations. Acceptance is not resignation. It's alignment with what can be controlled. Attitude, judgment, action. The less it should be this way, and the more it is this way, and I act, the less unnecessary friction exists. It hurts so much because the ego personalizes everything. A driver cuts you off. They disrespected me. A coworker is rude. They don't value who I am. The ego demands reverence and flares up when it doesn't get it. Undoing this centrality changes everything. Most people are lost in their own chaos. It's rarely about you. When others' opinions stop dictating your worth, insults return to being just air moving through vocal cords. The wisest reply, the sages said, is not to resemble the one who provokes you. Forgiveness here isn't romantic. It's mental hygiene. Resentment feels like justice, but works like a shackle. It chains you to the episode and lets the other person rent space in your mind. Forgiving doesn't absolve the act. It dissolves the psychic link that forces you to relive the scene. It's a, "I'm not spending energy on this anymore," that restores autonomy and clears room to live. To make this possible in daily life, there's the discipline of non-reaction. It doesn't tell you to swallow anger, it tells you to create an interval. Between stimulus and response, a few seconds are worth gold. Breathe, notice the impulse, let the wave pass, then decide. Time is the best relevance filter. What feels unacceptable today often turns to dust tomorrow. Answering later with a clear head usually swaps sparks for solutions. Many explosions don't come from them, but from our own cracks. Fragile self-esteem turns any criticism into a threat to identity. Strengthening self-image changes the game. When you know who you are, harsh words become data to evaluate, not a sentence. And if the criticism is fair, even better, you get a clue for improvement without burning fuel in anger. Having purpose also reorganizes emotions. Without direction, everything irritates. With a compass, almost nothing distracts. When you know why you're here, traffic becomes part of the route, rudeness becomes background noise, and small stumbles lose importance. Purpose isn't found by luck, It's defined and built, and as you build it, irritation loses the stage. The good news: the brain cooperates, neuroplasticity. Each time you choose calm instead of explosion, you strengthen a neural path that makes the next choice easier. At first it feels forced, but repetition builds naturalness. One day, what used to trigger you becomes neutral, not because you're numb, but because your mind learned a smarter route. Two catalysts accelerate this learning: love and gratitude. Love reorders priorities. Winning an argument matters less than preserving a bond. Gratitude shifts focus. Where recognition lives, resentment starves. It's not toxic positivity, it's strategic realism. Attention is energy, and what you water grows. Healthy boundaries do the rest. Saying no when needed is self-respect, not aggression. Those who never signal their edges teach others to cross them. Clarity, firmness, calm. I won't speak in that tone. My time is limited. That's not acceptable. Relationships improve when borders become visible. It also helps to remember that not everything deserves attention. Every day, microscopic provocations pose as emergencies. Guiding question: will this matter in a month? Usually, no. Ignoring with elegance is a virtue. Choosing battles is wisdom. Another key: separate fact from interpretation. Someone said X is a fact. Therefore, I am Y is the story you added. Questioning automatic thoughts dismantles suffering. The same goes for self-image. Don't outsource it. Build it through self-knowledge and honesty, not likes or labels. If criticism is true, adjust course. If not, let it go. No drama. Beware of the mental trap of good versus bad. Real people are mixtures. Freezing someone into one label simplifies the story but distorts reality. Understanding complexity isn't excusing, it's gaining power to respond wisely. And when anger still comes, use a simple, efficient protocol, a Stoic version of rain. Recognize I'm angry now. Accept that the emotion is present without acting immediately. Investigate where it comes from: fear, expectation, wounded ego. And nurture what needs care. A clear limit, a rest, an honest talk. That's how raw energy becomes discernment. In the end, everything converges on one point: mastering yourself. You can't edit the world, but you can edit your lens, your inner dialogue, your conduct. Peace doesn't come from a life without provocation. It grows from the skill of crossing storms with equanimity. Those who practice it daily discover that irritation has a short shelf life, and serenity, far from being a luxury, is a trainable skill. If this message helped you take a step toward that peace, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone still at war with their own impulses. The more people learn to breathe before reacting, the lighter our conversations, teams, families, and minds will be.